Alrighty, so we've drawn the cheek plate, we've drawn the components to make the spacer. Now I'm going to move on to this sheave pin here. So when we have a bit of a look at this, I can see an axis line running through it, or a center line running through it, so I know it's a round, revolved type of shape. Information tells you that it's an M profile 20 thread on both ends. So you can see that here by the double lines. That's basically showing the tip of the tooth and also the root of the thread going on there. I can see that it's 25mm long. Then we've got this 12mm spacer section. 100mm in the middle of it. 12, 25 again. Diameters are 30 and 62. So, do I have a 30mm hole? It's going to go in that hole there. That one's a 30. That one's 22.5. Must go up here. It's the only place I can see that that sheave pin will actually fit. And I'm guessing that it works with the sheave. How am I going to draw this thing? Well, I'm going to draw it as a revolve. When I draw a revolve, essentially I draw this center line and I draw everything above that center line. When I dimension, well, I can dimension it just like this. When I dimension the diameters, if I measure from a surface and then to the center line, it will automatically understand that it's going to be a revolved item and give me the option to type in the diameter. So the 30, the 62, and also the 20 for the thread. Okay, so how do we actually do that? Let me swap back to Inventor now. That one's been saved. I'll minimize that. There we go. My parts collection is growing and growing. New standard millimeter. And here we are. Again, just maximize that workspace. Okay, this time I'm going to draw that on this YZ plane. Essentially, I'm looking at it from the right-hand side. Now, I need to draw a line. I'm going to draw it across here, across the center, but I need it to be a center line. So up here, I can adjust what type of line I'm drawing. Starting my line, I'll tell you what, let's even draw it crooked. I know its total length. If I add them all up, 100 plus the 225, so we're up to 150, plus the 212s, we're up to 174. So what did I say? 174. 174 long. And escape turns that off. Awesome. You've drawn a crooked line in the middle of nowhere that's not constrained anything. How do I go about fixing that? Well, this thing needs to be horizontal for starters. Except now that I'm working my right-hand view, horizontal is no longer horizontal. If I use my vertical, it is. If I pick a point anywhere along here and lights up the whole line, it says, hey, do you want to make this thing horizontal? Well, yes, I do. Next, I'm going to use my coincident constraint. I'm going to take the center of the line. The green dot says, hey, I found the center point or an end point, and I want to line it up on my center. When I go to the center, it goes white. Hey, presto, I now have a fully constrained center line. Right, Escape turns those things off. Turn off my center line. I want to start actually drawing properly. I'm just going to sketch this thing in. I'm not even going to try to put the right dimensions in on it at this point. Okay, it goes across and it essentially mirrors those going back down on the opposite side. I'll look for a drop down. It's a little bit masked by the dimension. There we go. Dimensioning this thing. Right, now, like I was saying before, if I dimension from a line to the center line, it automatically tells me that's going to be a diameter. This first one, diameter 20. That one's for the thread. This one goes in the cheek plate itself. This one had to be 30. And then I'm just left with the, hit OK, and then I'm just left with the outline of it. Now, what you may or may not have noticed as I was drawing these, 62 on that one, is that I was looking for a constraint line, a dotted line running across from one side to the other as I drew in this second side. If you didn't do that, just grab whichever constraint you need and line up the center point of each of these with the corresponding one on the other side. All right, sticking with dimensions. This one needs to be 100. This one needs to be 12. This one needed to be, let's place that there, 25. All right, matching ones on the other side. This one needs to be the same as that. I don't need to put this one in because it's already, it's just, that's the space that's left over. It's going to be 12 because it all adds up, doesn't it? I can put that in as a double check. Yeah, hey, presto, it is. I don't want to place it. Okay, my sketch is complete. All right, let's zoom out a little bit so we can see everything. Don't worry about all those dimensions looking a bit messy. We're just building a sketch. So revolve. There's only one profile to choose, and it has a center line, so it automatically knows that profile gets spun around that center line. All I have to do is hit OK. It's done. Straight up done. Now, however, threads. I do need to put some threads on. I need to put a thread on here. Yes, it's the full length of that face. What I'd probably like to check is that it's using a metric profile, and what size has it chosen? Good, 20, because that was 20, and the standard for that is a 2.5 pitch. Right, I say apply because I want that same thread on the other end, and OK to finish it off. What you may have noticed in there is you can have the option to do a left-handed thread. Now there should be a little bit of a chamfer on here to help lead the nut on. We're going to bring that down to 1 millimeter. The edges, this edge and this edge, and OK. One last thing to do with this part is assign a material. When we have a look at this thing, it tells me that it is a mild steel as well. Where am I? Mild steel. There we are. Very good. It just says a polished surface. We can live with a polished surface at the moment. All right. So have a go at drawing that one. It's a revolve, a little bit different to what we've done in the past. Have a crack, and I'll see you very soon.